Martin Scorsese's Goodfellas is considered by many to be the best mafia crime film ever made. It follows the life of criminal Henry Hill as he and his friends work their way up the mob ladder. Stylish, innovative and seductive in its allure, the film has gone down as a classic, and it's in part due to the scene-stealing supporting character performance of Joe Pesci playing Tommy DeVito. Tommy is an associate of the Lucchese crime family and is a vicious, deranged psychopath. We see him perform a number of unhinged acts in the film and show no remorse for it, such as the brutal beating and murder of made man Billy Bat after a verbal altercation. The man's biggest regret after this incident seems to be getting blood on Henry's floor. He then picks on a bartender known as Spider and shoots him in the foot for pretty much no reason at all, later killing the man in cold blood after being told to go fuck himself. There is an uneasiness when Tommy is on screen, even around friends, such as during the famous funny how scene. Tommy gives off a vibe of being able to do just about anything, whether it be tell a simple joke or pull out a gun and start blasting. Tommy is based on a real-life individual known as Tommy Two Guns DeSimone. Much of Pesci's depiction of the man is considered accurate, aside from the fact that the real Tommy was massively tall and lean compared to Pesci's short stature. That, and that the real Tommy would have been in his 20s during the events depicted in the film, as he was around 6 years younger than Henry Hill, whereas Pesci was in his 40s. The real-life Tommy is thought to be just as psychopathic, explosive and evil as he is depicted in the film, though it may surprise you to learn that he was actually toned down for the movie, with many of Tommy's antics not making it into the film, like shooting at random passerbys simply to test out a new gun, using them as target practice, and lifting up his mask and making his face visible during the Lufthansa heist. He was also sent by Jimmy to rough up a warehouse foreman so that he'd be a pushover in the future, but Tommy ended up beating up the man so bad he ended up killing him. He is thought to have committed his first murder by simply shooting dead a random pedestrian, commenting that, "Well, I'm a mean cat," when questioned by Henry Hill about it. Now clearly there's something up with Tommy. Even by standard mob movie characters, murderers and thieves, there's something very clearly wrong with this guy. He's massively insecure and has a short fuse, as shown by the Billy Bat scene and the spider incident. It may be that Tommy has some kind of Napoleon complex or little man syndrome, but that's an explanation that can only be used for the film, seeing as though the real Tommy was not a short guy. As Paulie says, he's crazy, he's a cowboy, he's got too much to prove. But why did he have too much to prove? Well, one theory I wanted to propose is that Tommy was insecure and in a constant state of trying to prove his worth as a gangster to overcompensate for Anthony DeSimone. Anthony was Tommy's brother, an associate of the Gambino crime family who was close to Tommy growing up and was also a family friend of Jimmy Burke, called Jimmy Conway in the movie. The likes of former mobster Joseph Iannuzzi are thought to have praised Anthony and thought of him as someone who would eventually become a made guy one day. However, after being indicted on a hijacking charge, Anthony was facing a long prison sentence, so decided to flip, testifying against several Colombo, Gambino and Lucchese crime family members, including associates of his brother. He is thought to have been killed for his betrayal, and to have such a character in one's family would be considered a disgrace for mobsters, not least because Tommy and Anthony came from a line that included two bosses of the Los Angeles crime family. So Tommy would have grown up with the reputation as the brother of a rat, and because of this, it's likely, in addition to him having a psychopathic nature anyway, Tommy was constantly trying to prove how tough he was, how made for the mob he was, to distance himself from his brother. As the book Wise Guy, which the film is based on, tells us, you couldn't kid around with Tommy. He was wired very tight. One of Tommy's brothers had ratted people out years ago, and he was always living that down. It's thought that Anthony becoming a government informant was one of the key factors that caused Tommy to have such a short temper and to lash out at anyone who had anything to say against him. There are also other stories about him, such as his mistress having stolen a large amount of mob cash, and therefore him being suspected of being complicit in the robbery. But all in all, The shadow of having an informant as a brother would have weighed heavily on the mind of Tommy, a man with already such a short fuse. Of course, that isn't to say that it was simply this one insecurity which made Tommy so hot-headed. He clearly had an appetite for murder and violence, but it must have been constantly in the back of his mind how he was perceived by other mobsters for having a rat as a brother. For more videos, consider subscribing to the channel, and thanks for watching. Before we finish, I'd just like to thank my patrons, Nicholas Curtis and Daniel P, and also my channel members, Michael Awatwi, Rikers, Damien Irving, Joe Grossberg, Cam Medina, The New on Gram 24, and Tristan Foss.
What the fucking world is coming to? How do you like that?